Hi, everyone. First of all, thank you very much for joining us today for this webinar. So this is Dhananjay Kaur, Principal Consultant at Avalon Software, looking after SCM practice from Middle East and the USA region. So before moving to the exact topic, let me give you a quick intro about the Avalon Software Services. So it's been a decade since Avalon Software has established and grown consistently since then. Now offering wide range of services such as Oracle Human Capital Management, Supply Chain Management, Cloud EBS, Custom ERP, Managed IT Services, and the digital technologies. So along with that, we have some of our inbuilt tool as well for conversion activities for payroll processing. So these are sub modules like we have internally developed. So in that way also we are expanding rapidly into the market, and we are having our headquarters in the USA, UK, Australia, India, Middle East region, making sure of global presence and catering our services worldwide. Okay, and also we are very proud partners with the Oracle and have completed more than 70 plus projects, along with 30 plus cloud implementation across the globe. So we have a good strength of the certified consultant in terms of various module. Especially, I'm from the HCM background, so I would like to call it like payroll, OTL, absence, benefit, and likewise, similarly, we have into the supply chain and finance as well. So in a previously we have conducted one session into the finance module. So yeah, so we have the good strength of the certified consultant. Coming to today's webinar, the topic is assessing EBS before the cloud migration. So the name itself, it suggests that it's more over the data conversion activity, the planning, plotting, and the processing. So how we are dealing with it, how we are taking care of it. So we will try to keep this webinar fun and interactive, of course, because your question will make this webinar very fruitful. Okay, because the wide variety of any kind of small, big, or any scale of question we will try to answer here. Okay, during the session, if anyone have the related topic, feel free to drop them into the question and answer section. So we will take this question with our presenter. Okay, and we will clarify them in between the topics. So now, without making any delay, let me introduce our esteemed delivery head, subject matter expert, and the presenter of this webinar, Mr. Sridhar Lellapalli, who's holding a rich experience in this area. So welcome, Sridhar. You can take over from here.
Okay. Thank you, Jay, for your kind introduction. Hi, everyone. This is Sridhar Lellapalli. I'm the delivery manager at Avalon Software Services. Welcome to this webinar. It's good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on wherever you're joining this webinar from. I would like to share the presentation with you for today's topic. Yeah, so assessing your EBS before your cloud migration, that is the topic of this webinar. So a quick intro about myself. As I said, I'm the delivery head, Sridhar Lellapalli at Avalon Software Services. We handle EBS, cloud migration projects, cloud EBS fusion installation implementation projects, and various other maintenance services. Personally about me, I'm married with two children, and my hobbies are playing table tennis, and I also write skits in my native language in a couple of other Indian languages as well. Okay, so without any delay, let's go into the topic. So assessing your EBS before cloud migration, many a company will have these typical questions during their assessment, like which modules might gain from a cloud migration, if any. So these are the typical questions any company would be facing it. And which software has a demonstrable, measurable, and favorable effect on business operations? And how does it help accomplish the goals? Or like you can also say, is a hybrid cloud setup. Certain apps can move to the cloud while others stay on the premises. But at what cost? To give you an example, If you use EBS with third-party solutions, like for planning and budgeting, or talent management, or supplier management, you could move those specific functions to cloud. Only these functions. Okay, so that is the meaning of this hybrid cloud setup. Or you might choose to start by adopting the cloud for a specific business unit, or a department, or an acquired organization. So these are the various kinds of setups that you will be considering. So that it is recommended that you need to assess your EBS applications portfolio before you jump into this cloud migration from two angles, two perspectives basically. Like one of them is cloud readiness. See how well does the app, its dependencies, and technology stack work with the architecture and design patterns of the cloud. So far until now, it has been on EBS. Now, how once moving after it moves to cloud, how well those architecture and design patterns work on the cloud. This also gives you a better idea of the challenges, process, and work involved in moving to the cloud. This means the assessment gives you those idea about these challenges and processes and work involved. Secondly, the second angle is the business impact. How much will be moving the application to the cloud help the business? So this is a business perspective, business angle. This part helps you figure out why and how the business wants to move it to the cloud, the core business on which earlier you were having utilizing EBS. So from their perspective, so you have to talk to those business stakeholders and also get them involved in this assessment. So these are the key attributes as part of this assessment of this from EBS to cloud migration. So these are the attributes on which we will be doing an assessment of the current EBS and the path to the cloud. So application fundamentals like operating system. So for example, like AWS lets you choose the operating system, database, programming language, web application platform, and other services that you need. So you might be considering, shall I go with AWS or Oracle Cloud? So these are the factors. So operating system is an attribute on which you can consider this assessment. So before you start with the migration strategy, it is important to analyze the current operating system. Okay, so based on this analysis, it is possible to figure out the migration path. The Oracle supports operating systems like Windows, Linux, Solaris, etc. So many. Now, migration strategy can be formulated based on the current operating system version and also the size of the database. So migration strategy may remain same, but the method to implement it might differ depending on things like database version, source, and destination databases like that. So what you need to do is you have to find out your current database version. Now find the endian format of the host. You can also analyze your existing database and OCA source. You can also figure out the destination database before the process. Okay, so now there is also another aspect which is called licensing. Also, you can also consider what is the size of the database, for example. Now, how is the connectivity? So while doing the migration, you can use Oracle Fast Connect or a virtual private network, which helps you do the migration quicker. Okay, you can work on reducing the migration time and also offer maximum instance availability at the same time. So now coming to licensing, this is another factor, technical attribute. So like example being like Oracle database licensing on AWS is based on the size of the instance on which the database is installed. You can also, there is another technical attribute which is called as the workload pattern, like the dynamic use or utilization. What is that utilization factor? Utilization is like cloud resources are deployed flexibly to match a customer's fluctuating demands, which is the utilization of that instance. Now, going on to the next attributes. So we have application performance, like performance requirements. What are the IO requirements? So the demand can change over time. Architectural design decisions would allow the flexibility to incorporate new services that can increase the performance efficiency. Like, for example, the first one is being you should know your workload. So what do you mean by that? Well, you need to have a good understanding of the workload. The new one or the on-premise is crucial when making these design decisions. What is the workload? The next one is you need to evaluate the cloud services in the context of the requirements. That means you need to understand what are the cloud services best support your architecture and the current business requirements. You should also understand it with the perspective of, you need to say, you have to become data driven. That means when you're moving from EBS to cloud, you are becoming more data driven. Now, so today's cloud platforms can provide a large amount of metrics which can be used to drive design decisions and provide very detailed insight in your workload performance. So it's going to be more data driven, so which is a key factor in one of these assessment attributes. You should also, another attribute is that you should anticipate growth. Over time, your workload may grow, right? Or expand into additional geographical areas. You may go into different countries. So you need to ensure your architecture and the selected services will support your business growth. So that is one factor. And the last one is you need to understand and optimize your spending. So what do you mean by that? So cloud allows for rapid provisioning of services and having visibility to associated costs. So, and how to optimize them is important when your workload increases. You can learn about the cloud cost model. You can introduce them to cost governance. You can measure your efficiency. You can leverage cloud services and features. Okay. So in the next attributes are like in networking. Networking also plays a critical portion in this assessment. And network requirements like network latency issues for high throughput operations, and also data residency concerns you should need to factor in. That's what we mean by network requirements. So what are your network requirements? All these form part of your study of the assessment before you migrate to cloud. So the next big one is application architecture. So what are the modularization capabilities? Okay, so this allows businesses to easily integrate customized applications based on their specific needs with the help of this modularization capabilities. So how well are you going to utilize these for your customization? Now there is another aspect which is called as the containerization or the serverless capabilities. This means it is an ability to instantly run containers without managing any servers. Like for example, you can have OCI container instances, which enables you to easily run applications on serverless compute optimized for containers. So going on to the next factors, like now we are talking about business attributes. These attributes are categorized as business attributes. So it is from the perspective of the business, like how you are going to list out these attributes and how you are going to analyze it, assess it. So what are the application organization gains? What are the potential for new capabilities? The examples are like API gateway. You can use API management. You can use events are there. Streaming is there. Workflow. Notifications are there. So API gateway, what does it do? So this service enables you to publish APIs without private endpoints that are accessible from within your network. So that is the key feature of that. So what is API management? OCI API Gateway, it provides integration, acceleration, governance, and security for API and server-based systems. So this enabling teams to manage and deliver web APIs securely. So that's what it means by API management. So you need to consider those factors. So now coming to the next one, that is the application requirements, where you may want to look at the compliance and regulatory initiatives. What do you mean by that? So specialists are there in that field, compliance field, who can review operational practices. They can create and enforce compliance plans, and they can perform regulatory risk management, which is required in many of the vertical industries where you are shifting from EBS to cloud, right? So your core business might be requiring these compliance and regulatory initiatives. Now, availability requirements, like you need to ensure that the organizations comply with industry specifications, standards, regulations, and laws. Next one is people and processes. They are also important, like skill sets. What are the skill sets that the current IT team have, so that you can leverage their skill sets once you move from EBS to Fusion? Or do you need to hire consultants if you are moving to cloud? Okay, and operational efficiency. This means you need to identify appropriate processes and procedures to automate and also optimize the operation of all cloud services. It's important to consider best practices to deploy, operate, and monitor applications and infrastructure to deliver maximum business value. Okay, now there are the next factors are the cost and market factors. So you have like total migration costs. What would be by total migration costs? What is the time to market? So when you say total migration cost, like high value specialist workloads, such as you can have large scale mission critical databases, they mandate a specialist combination of hardware, software, and automation. So you also need to take that into account. So migration costs, like for example, Oracle ATP, excuse me, Oracle ATP, autonomous transaction processing, this with Exadata on OCI, this will result in significantly lower IT budget costs, and expected downtime costs also can go down when compared with a general purpose cloud architecture. So you need to, this is an example. So all these need to be factored in during the assessment of EBS to cloud migration. For most of the companies, the value of this migration depends on the specific benefits gained by the targeted application. So it can be difficult and also time consuming to determine which workloads would benefit most from being moved to the cloud, and you need to rank them in order of migration priority. So let me take, if there are any questions, please feel free to post it in the chat of this webinar. Jay, do you see any of them?
Hello. Hi, Sridhar. Sorry, I was on mute. So just now we received one question from one of the North America attendees, that is there any practice makes you efficient in this conversion activity, especially for HCM they have mentioned. Your voice is not audible.
Sorry, especially for what? What about
human capital management?
Okay. Is there any practice? See, there are several methods by which you can do this. We have lift and shift, and other one-click method also we can do. So there are several methodologies for doing this migration. We can gladly take it up this question and we can analyze this based on your details. We need more details on this. So if you are able to share your details, we'll be gladly taking it up, and then I can get back to you. Our company can get back to you on that.
Okay.
Shall I continue, or any other question?
So one more question we have received here from the audience. So the audience is asking that generally how is the duration or the estimation we are taking like for this health check? It's nothing but the health check what we are
Sure.
communicating. So, yeah.
Yeah. So this is an assessment. This is not the actual cloud migration. So what we are expecting is this assessment based on the, typically it will be like 2 weeks, maximum 3 weeks. That's how long we take it for this assessment. 2 weeks, we'll say. Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Sridhar, for your answer.
Yeah.
And also one more question is populating here. So we are creating a lot of interest into the audience. So really thanks
Mhm.
for your session. First of all, it's an appreciable thing. So we have received one that how one decide AWS or the Oracle Cloud for EBS migration.
That's a very good question. See, Oracle, when you're migrating, this is Oracle, EBS is Oracle. Oracle Cloud is, of course, Oracle. There are many services that are gel if you're using Oracle Cloud as compared to AWS. If you're doing it instead of Oracle Cloud, if you're going to with AWS, then you may have to do, many of the services may not be available. I'm not saying not all, but you may have to do a lot of work, which otherwise it would have been easier if you were to go with Oracle Cloud, because it's coming itself from native Oracle, right? So they have planned out everything. They're giving you, they foresee everything, and then they give you more flexibility, more plugins, more services, more adaptability, and hence why it gels very well. So generally, they recommend. Of course, they are selling the product. They recommend Oracle Cloud, but if the company prefers AWS for some other organizational reasons, there also it is flexible. But the better one is going with Oracle Cloud if everything else remains same. Okay. I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, we have received the feedback as well. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes.
So can I continue, or we can take the rest because I have
No,
few
no,
more
we
slides.
can continue. We can continue. So the
Sure.
mindset got clearer from the audience, so they can, focus more with the attentive
Yeah.
manner. To really thanks Sridhar to taking this question in between your flow. So
Yeah.
yeah, we
Thank
can
you.
continue.
Yeah. Thank you for posing the questions. Yeah.
Yeah,
Or else I
thank
wouldn't know, like with the feedback, right? Okay.
thank
So yeah, once we are going to the next slide, please. 1 second. Okay. So in continuation of that, you need to consider, this is an important step which most of the companies they ignore or they give lower priority. But I feel that in many of my, in my experience, in many of the projects that I have handled in USA, in the Middle East, or in Europe, you need to consider, involve the stakeholders at the beginning itself, who are not from IT, but they are from top management, executive management, and from business management. And their art inputs, they form a very valuable list of attributes for this cloud migration. So this assessment will take care of that also. So, for example, they would have used EBS for maybe 10 years or more, right? And after that, the business would have come up with various other maybe drawbacks or with the customizations and all in EBS, or new insights in their business. Oh, this process can be done faster. This invoice processing can be done faster. So there, if you were to take the inputs, and we can place that inputs from those business stakeholders into a correct perspective in the cloud factors to which you are migrating to, and they would be able to see the value that this migration is going to provide, this exercise is going to provide. So this is a very important factor. So if you're in order to determine if your EBS is a candidate deemed best fit for cloud migration, you have to do this assessment. You have to involve them, and you have to give it appropriate priority, like in a company will have various priorities for the projects, right? So then they can decide based on how to prioritize this migration, based on the key attributes on which they are able to benefit from this. So they can put a higher priority or a medium priority or whatever it is based on this collection of these attributes in such a discussion. You also there you may able to discover more drivers after involving these stakeholders. You may be able to see several new factors coming in, which you can list it out and put it in this assessment report, which helps you give a clear picture for the cloud migration, for the assessment. Okay, now this is a Gartner report, like how this migration is benefiting, categorized into various attributes, which was done earlier, 2020. We just took it as a source. So this is how it shows, like, which are the factors that are forming how much of percentage towards this migration process. As you can see, so it's like the red one is the first choice, where for example, the parameter IT modernization. Okay, we are moving to cloud. The factor is IT modernization. They want to modernize their IT department so that it is in step with the outside world, with the competitive world. So on this factor, most of them have voted this IT modernization as first choice. That is 17%. And overall, where IT modernization is being figured in the top 3, that is 40%. So IT modernization is the main factor as per this Gartner report. And you can see improved efficiency, obviously going to cloud compared to EBS. And you will be paying only for those services, because in cloud, you are paying for the services, pay as you go, or there is a combination of how you pay them, right? So that improves efficiency and increased data security. This is the third factor, which is appearing here as a prominent factor in the top 3. 30% chose this as their top 3 choices. Improved productivity, you can see increased agility and innovation, cost savings, of course, because you don't have to maintain a data center, or you don't have to maintain the applications and all. If you're going to cloud, there will be quarterly patches coming in from cloud, which will update the software as a service, Oracle Cloud, Oracle Fusion Cloud, Oracle Cloud applications, both your entire applications, which will be up to date. Okay, so, and also enabling digital business strategy, like how you are going to leverage this cloud for your business strategy, application and workload modernization, you have cost optimization, you have data center consolidation, because less hassles to worry about if you are taking most of the data center activities over to the cloud, if you choose to do that in one of the models. And business transformation elasticity, okay, and also organizational transparency. And okay, we are also considering not everything works for all types of business domains and all. So that's why this assessment is required. We cannot say one one measure that will measure all. We cannot say like that, one attribute. So it depends on the business domains and the applications that they are into. For example, for the client portal, the scalability and robustness may be of paramount importance, right? Whereas if it is a inventory centric business, inventory management software, the cost reduction is a top precedence for them, top priority for them, because they want to maintain low cost on the inventory, right? So the assessment is going to differ based on the type of business domain that this either EBS or the cloud is going to go in. No, so that you need to these objectives will have to be reevaluated, and they have to be tailored for each distinct area of this business or software. So what do you need to do? So the actions are like you need to gather the necessary business and IT decision makers who can contribute to this so that they can discuss the cloud migration readiness assessment, and also so that they are aligned with your EBS initial goals and anticipated advantages. You need to, in order to do this, you also need to have metrics, business metrics, or else how will you measure, how will you compare? So anyway, the business metrics, they form a key point here. You can also modify the goals as needed to fit the needs of the individual industries or software packages. You can also modify these goals. So the primarily what we are summarizing here is the what and when questions of cloud migrations. They can be better answered if everyone is on the same page about the initiative goals. Okay, what are we migrating to? When are we doing this? Like all these questions, they play an important factor in while involving various stakeholders and during this assessment. Okay, now the final questions. If any more questions, please, Jay, I will hand it over to you.
Okay. So let me have a quick look. Okay, there is one question. I'm just reading it out because it came to me. Okay. So, Sridhar, one more question is like, we are coming up from the audience, like, what are some common challenges organizations face when evaluating their EBS for a cloud migration, and what strategies can they adopt to overcome these challenges? Okay. So, as you've given this answer already for one of the question in the same session, so I would like to take it up with your permission.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. So, yeah, so I would like to explain in this area because being an the HCM expertise. So initial start is to understand the legacy structure. Okay, because data migration is one of the challenging activity I can say, because if that gets failed, your entire new development or the implementation definitely going to get a fail. So that this is a time consuming, and you can say very this area should be well known with the best expertise. So what we generally do, okay, so initial start is to understand the legacy structure, and our expert data analytics team perform the analysis for the available and unavailable objects into the fusion side, because there might be the objects in your legacy system, let's suppose 64, 68, and in fusion we have like 50, or it could be a vice versa. So it's all about the mapping. Okay, so the mapping is one of the biggest challenge in this area, and that can be handled by providing the way rather than eliminating the objects, because there are several ways like where we can store the data, and of course efficient conversion and in-depth understanding and the product feature, and the timely advices from the expertise which we already have. As we communicated, we have a 30 plus certified consultant. So with this all combination, data conversion can go smooth, and it should go smooth. Okay, so it all depends upon the mapping. It all depends upon the in-depth idea of the product. So I hope I could able to answer the question for the audience. Just correct me, Sridhar, if I am away from the.
Yeah. Hope so. Hope so.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Fine. So apart from that, we don't have any question. I guess already you answered. Couple
Okay.
of questions you already answered, so we are receiving the.
Okay. So to continue this, if audience of this webinar, if they want to have further questions and if they want to meet with us and discuss these possibilities, we have a very competitive expert consultants, group of consultants with us, and we'll be glad to take it forward with a further arrangement of meetings, etc. So let me quickly show them the contacts that we have so that they can take it down, and then finally I can show my face as well also after that. These are email address, contacts, and our website. You're on LinkedIn, you're on YouTube, you're on Facebook. I'll just let it remain for a while so that you can take this information, contact information.
Sure.
Okay. And once again, thank you all for all the audience for giving us your precious time this evening. It's evening time for us here in our local time. But wherever you are in your local time zones, for this spending this time with us, I hope we have given a clear perspective of this process, and we can take it forward with your inquiries further. Again, thank you very much for your patience. Thank you, Jay. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Sridhar, for your time. So let me quickly, summarize this. So really, thanks, Sridhar. It is an insightful webinar. Thank you for your time. And also, thank you everyone for your attention and participation. So we are offering free health check to all the participants to avail free assessment. Please write us to sales@avalonsoftwareservices.com to schedule a meeting. And if you have any doubt, queries, or want a business, please reach out to us at the same email ID, that is the sales@avalonsoftwareservices.com. And we will be running a webinar series on a insightful content like this. So we have a couple of already in a pipeline. So please look out to our LinkedIn page and our website for the latest update. So if you missed our previous webinar or you want to re-watch this webinar, you can visit to our YouTube channel. So as Mr. Sridhar already shown. Okay, and feel free to subscribe. Thank you everyone for your valuable time. Look forward for connecting with you all again. Okay, thank you.